Welcome to Tier 4. Here we have the Bourrasque. This was a squadron torpedo boat, to use the French terminology. It was a real ship. It sank in 1940, hit a mine during the evacuation of Dunkirk. So, not exactly a famous ship, but a notable ship nevertheless. Here in World of Warships, as you can see, it's got pretty poor detection range, pretty poor torpedoes, decent gun range, and not that much speed, 34, 35 knots. That's not that impressive already in Tier 4. So my strategy for this ship is, as with the previous ones, play it kind of like a cruiser. Avoid getting into duels with other destroyers, especially right at the beginning, and see if I can use the armor piercing to mess up some enemy cruisers. As often happens down here at the lower tiers, I got a lot of bots coming at me, so I'm assuming that these cruisers in particular, but also the destroyers, are going to keep sailing in straight lines. So I'm going to launch some torpedoes at long range and let them walk right into them. That's pretty impressive. Two destroyers, bots just rammed each other. That solves part of my problem. I've still got two other enemy destroyers over on this flank. There's a little bit of a weird layout where both teams are sort of split in half. I didn't realize that right at the beginning of this game. I'm realizing it now. I'm sort of out of position now. I'm sort of trying to get towards the middle where I could shoot to either side, and now realizing that I can't quite reach the other side. But I should stay here and just deal with this side. So, for once, my aiming is pretty good. I actually hit that guy the first time, and somebody killed him before I did, but I thought my aim was alright there. And, yeah, 10,000 damage in the first couple of minutes. That's not terrible. So this guy's coming back into torpedo range. Unfortunately, my torpedoes aren't ready, and somebody killed him already. Yep. Pretty intense action here. This is definitely a high bot kind of game. Everyone's just charging straight at each other and firing away. So there's one Dursky way back there. He's not going to be a big problem for me. I'm just going to start shooting at this Frion with armor piercing and hopefully show you some of those citadels like I showed you last game. Unfortunately, I missed that one. Torpedo protection. He's shooting a bag at me, so I'm trying to play with the throttle a little bit. He missed anyway. This one's a bot. Getting a little worried about that destroyer getting a little closer. So far, he seems to be ignoring me. I don't know. I think that shot was supposed to be at the destroyer. Yeah, missed. Another battleship out there somewhere, but I lost sight of him, so I'll go ahead and try to take a torpedo shot at the cruiser. They seem to be turning a lot, so this is sort of wildly aimed. I was hit with 4. I had the high explosive loaded because I was shooting at the destroyer before. So I'm going to keep high explosive loaded, see if that does anything. That destroyer is actually annoying me. He's aiming right at me, so I'm going to devote more attention to him. Yeah, I got a hit. And I got a lucky torpedo hit on the cruiser. So now I have just this guy to worry about. And I'm realizing that I don't really have to worry too much about him because he's pretty far out of position. And I've got teammates that should be able to deal with him if he gets too much closer. So I'm going to go make my way over towards the other side of the board and see if I can find some more fun targets to shoot at. I have to say, in general, I don't have a lot of fun playing this particular destroyer. It's got high visibility, it's not fast enough for the speed to be like a huge advantage, and it does have good armor piercing. You can citadel cruisers, but you gotta really aim very well. It'll show you later. Generally, trying to kill something, unless you're getting real close and using the torpedoes, trying to kill anything is kind of a slow process. So Yeah, and the rate of fire, as you can see, is not that great. There's only 4 guns. You can't always get all of them shooting at the same time, unless you're going to give a big fat broadside. So, you know, it's one of these frustrating lower tier destroyers, and we're going to record this one and then move on to Tier 5, and hopefully that one will be a little bit more fun. So now I've got a couple of cruisers coming into range here, so I'm going to shoot the torpedoes, not exactly where they're aiming now, but down the middle of that inlet, and I should be able to get at least one of them with one of those torpedoes. And I'm just ignoring the enemy destroyer back there and sailing towards these guys, getting, you know, kind of dangerously close, just seeing what I can do with the armor piercing. You'll notice I'm still getting overpens, even though I'm shooting through the bows. That's a little frustrated. There's one overpen, and then the rest are ricochet, so. So trying to aim carefully right at the waterline, still overpenning. And now I'm realizing I'm getting close to these islands over here. I don't want to be stuck against these islands, because this thing does not turn well. I don't want to get too close to the island, so I got to figure out, like, where do I want to be, which way do I want to turn. Because I got 2 cruisers at close range. They don't aim very well, but if they get any closer, they're going to start hitting me. And my torpedoes are almost ready, so maybe I could use those. But meanwhile, I've decided I'm going to turn in, cut in front of this guy, even though it's very, very close, and come back towards the other one, even though that's going to be even closer. I'm just timing my turn now. Take a couple more shots with all of my guns while I have them. I got so frustrated with the armor piercing, I'm trying the high explosive again. It's doing some damage. Oh, there's a fire, finally. So here I'm slowing down to make sure I make my turn. Making my turn. Let's try the armor piercing. It's right at point blank range, right at the waterline. 1 penetration out of 2. The other one just hit the water, I guess. Try this one. 2 overpens right at the waterline. That's super frustrating. This guy's got 500 health left. I should be able to just kill him with some high explosive. Let's just try anything. There we go, finally. Meanwhile, this guy is very close. Probably the fastest way to kill him is going to be with the torpedoes. So I'll put a couple armor piercing into him, do some damage. But he's got 12,000 health, so 2 torpedo hits will deal with him quite handily. But, you know, you never know. The torpedoes might miss, so I'll keep shooting at him. I got nothing better to shoot at anyway. Oh, look, the torpedoes missed. And at this point, I'm the only one defending the base here, so I gotta make sure I kill this guy. And his shots are getting a little closer. It's getting a little dangerous for me to be this close to him. But I gotta keep hitting him with something if I'm gonna stop him from capturing the capture point. And I'm noticing on the horizon there's a big old battleship shooting at me, but not very accurately. I'm not too worried about that yet. Nevertheless, I am awfully close to this guy. I'm going to turn on my speed boost to try to improve my odds of dodging. He's moving too far ahead of me most of the time anyway, so I hope I don't accidentally just run right into whatever he's shooting. Finally got a defender medal there. When I'm using the high explosive, because those will at least do something and guarantee to reset the cap. That's what I'm most worried about right now. I've got big fat broadside. I should be using armor piercing now. Maybe, yeah, here I finally realized it when I missed with the high explosive, hit the water. This is probably going to be overkill. He's only got 4,000 health, so any 1 torpedo should finish him off. I ought to be able to citadel him before then. I have a little trouble with the turret traverse here. I don't know if you can tell, but when I look away, or when I just turn the ship, it throws off the aim. Alright, so I got him with the torpedoes. And at this point, I know the battleship and the other destroyer are somewhere up north. I guess I actually didn't realize that. I forgot where they were, and I didn't look at them very well. I just had to go look to see if I could find any enemies over on the other half of the map. My thought was that I can get in there with my friendly battleship, and we can cap faster than the enemy can cap, because they're not in the cap yet, and my friendly battleship already is. So if I don't find anybody to shoot at, I can just win by capping. There's no reason for me to sit here and fight against that Dursky. You know, I've lost a little bit of health. Took a few hits. I don't remember what health the Dursky is at, so let's just go see what's over here. I got my speed boost running. Oh, look at that. The Dursky came and ran this way. So now I should help my team out and shoot at him. And he's got most of his health still, so it's going to be slightly annoying, but he's not expecting me, I don't think. So I should be able to at least get a couple shots on him before he can shoot back. And he probably won't try to torpedo me either, because he doesn't know I'm here. But he's in the cap circles. That stops my team's cap, so I really got to discourage him from staying there. So launch long range, high explosive, and way too far behind. Launch that up a little further ahead. Let's see how that goes. And there should be 3 of us shooting at him, so we should be able to beat him pretty quickly. Unfortunately, he's got some good torpedo salvos up against my friendly battleship. Ooh, yeah, that hurt. So unfortunately, I'm still at pretty long range here. My shots are not very accurate. My friendly destroyer is launching torpedoes at that kind of range. I don't think that's going to work. But he's also shooting, so that's good. And my friendly battleship went down to another torpedo. And while we're trying to deal with this guy, I'm hearing the alarm. And it means that the other battleship, the enemy battleship, is in my cap circle. So now, I have to decide, can I kill this guy quickly enough to get the cap ahead? Or do I have to go defend my cap? And given the fact that the enemy destroyer is in our cap circle, we're not going to get the capture points quickly at all from here, unless we can kill him. Or at least move him out. And if we can move him out and my friendly destroyer stays in the cap circle, then we can start capping, but at this point the enemy battleship has a pretty big head start. So time for me to start turning to my right, and at this point I'm actually a little confused looking at the map and looking at the islands about how far right I need to turn. So I'm a little unsure which way to go. I think I figured it out at this point. I'm now heading, nope, turning back. Partly just to take a couple extra shots at the Dursky, and probably because I'm not sure which island I'm looking at. I'm thinking at this point I need to go left of this island, but no, that's not the island. So now you're going to see me turn back to the right. And while I'm here, I'll take a couple shots at the Dursky. He's shooting at me, which is fine. That means he's not shooting at the other destroyer who's actually in the cap. He's actually the other destroyer who's starting the cap. But we're way behind on capture progress, and I can expect that my friendly destroyer is going to get reset. Yeah, he just got hit. So even if, and the Dursky got into the cap. So even if we were to kill him now, we would not be able to win by capping. So I got to go back to our cap and go kill this battleship, or at least try to reset him. The battleships are usually slow kills because they have lots of health. I don't know how much damage he's already taken, but probably not very much. So I got my speed boost on, and I'm up to 40 knots, which is not hugely impressive, but it is enough to get me back over here in time. Like, I can see a battleship anywhere in that cap circle from where I am already. So, starting to see the strategy that people talk about with French destroyers, going back and forth wherever you're needed, and just, avoiding things you want to avoid, and going in and going back and forth with the speed boost to attack the places where you're most useful. Unfortunately, I can't reset him if I can't see him, so I got to get closer. I'm running a little on time. I'm getting a little nervous here. He might finish capping this point before I see him. Luckily for me, he's not playing very well. He's coming right at me. So I got the reset. That helps. Hopefully the fundamental. At this point, I really should have saved some of my torpedoes. I'm just going to launch all of them because I am super close to a battleship, and if he does manage to nail me with a broadside, I'm going to be dead. So at the very least, I want to try to sink him as my, just a flesh wound, and maybe that'll help my team. Oh, actually no, my teammate is dead, so I'm the last one alive. The good news is the enemy destroyer is way in the other cap circle. The bad news is this battleship has 20,000 health, so I'm hitting him with high explosive, trying to set a fire, but it's going to be a long time before I can sink him. It would be faster if I had torpedoes, but my torpedoes are not ready. So if I had saved some of my torpedoes, I might be in a better position here. So I'm just going to keep shooting at him, keep running away a little bit, so that, you know, his secondaries are less likely to hit me without getting too far away. I'm turning here so I can use all of my guns at the same time. Using the high explosive still. God, I missed. And here I'm turning just, I can get back and get a look through that gap between the islands. That's partly just to make sure I can keep shooting him, partly to make sure I have a torpedo path, and partly so I have the maximum chance of seeing the enemy destroyer. If he comes towards me, I'm expecting he's going to come right past where that battleship is now. So I need to get a little bit closer if I want to try to use my torpedoes. And I'm looking at the score. He's no longer capping, but my team is down by 100 points. And obviously I can't go capture until I get this guy out of my way. So I just gotta go in there and do what a man's gotta do. I'm gonna get a little bit closer, try to dodge a little bit. Oh, look, there's the enemy destroyer shooting at me from a distance. Not too worried about that. I got my torpedoes ready. I'm going to use just one set this time, so if I miss, I have a second chance, because, you know, he was in the middle of turning when I launched, so I wasn't sure exactly which way he was going to go. Luckily, he's turning very slowly. I'm going to turn back a little bit while these torpedoes travel, get a little bit more distance, continue hitting him with the high explosive, not doing much. Look at that, I might get 3 hits. There we go, yay. I'm over 100,000 damage, so this is a good game. Unfortunately, I am now 12 points behind. And, you know, this is a single capture point kind of game, so the only way of making up that difference, other than killing the enemy, is going to capture, or at least occupy their capture point, their base. If I occupy the base, that stops their points from ticking up. So I have to occupy his base before he can occupy my base, and or just kill me. So I'm going to take the shortest possible path towards the enemy base, which is straight ahead here, and I'm expecting I will probably meet him along the way, and that will decide who wins this battle. One of us is going to die before we reach the cap circles. I'm out of speed boosts, unfortunately. Oh, look, there he is. And luckily for me, he's on quite low health, the other destroyer in my team. Look at that. That was victory, and that was also my 5th kill. So Kraken Unleashed, not too bad. Not exactly a great game, you know, against a bunch of bots. Not the best play, not the best accuracy. Nevertheless, this is what you're going to get for Tier 4, and I'm going to move on to Tier 5 and see if I can find a ship that I enjoy playing a little bit more than this one. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. You know the usual YouTube spiel.